Today in this video lecture we will discuss the third mode of the shift register, and that is the PISO shift register. PISO shift register means it is also known as a parallel in serial out shift register. So basically in this type of the shift register, the data are entered in a parallel form. Data are entered into a parallel fashion and it is read in a serial fashion. So here if you see this a basic diagram of this parallel in serial out shift register, where we have a 4 different flip-flop. So it is a 4-bit shift register. Here we have a flip-flop number 0, flip-flop number 1, 2 and 3. So 4 different flip-flops are there. The input to this flip-flop are a x0, x1, x2 and x3. All these flip-flops are internally connected to each other, means the output of the flip-flop 3 is connected to 2, output of the second flip-flop connected to 1, and finally we are getting the output from the flip-flop number 0. So here whatever the data will come out, it will be in a serial fashion. So here we have this output and these are the inputs. So the 4-bit register is there, so we can enter a 4-bit data. Here when we apply the clock, now this clock is applied simultaneously to all the flip-flops. So initially here whatever the data are there, x0, x1, x2, x3, 4-bit data, this 4-bit data we can enter into a shift register in a 2 different way. One of the method which is known as the asynchronous loading, in which the without clock we can load the data. The another method is when we apply the clock, then all the 4 bits are stored by this shift register. So we have 2 different methods for loading the data into a shift register. Then as we apply the clock, then this data is moved from left to right. So initially when we have load the data, here this will contain a x0, the flip-flop 1 contains the x1, second flip-flop will contain x2 and this will be contain x3. Then when we apply the clock, then first of all the x0 will come out. X0 will come out from this. Then with the second clock pulse, the x1 will be come out. Then the x2 will come out, and with the fourth clock pulse, x3 will come out. So here with the clock, the data is moved from left to right, and finally you are getting the output in the final flip-flop. So now let us see a logic diagram. Here we have this logic diagram, and first of all we are discussing a asynchronous loading. So asynchronous loading means what? Without clock pulse we are going to load the 4-bit binary number to the shift register. Here we have a flip-flop number 3. This is the flip-flop number 3. This is the flip-flop number 2, 1 and 0. In this way we have 4-bit shift register. Then here you can see the output of the flip-flop 3 is given to the input to the second flip-flop. Output of the second flip-flop is connected to input of a first flip-flop, and the output of the first flip-flop is connected to flip-flop number 0. And from this Q0 we have this output where the data are coming serially. So we have a serial output from the Y0. Then second thing here, if you see in the logic diagram, that whatever the clocks are there, clocks are given to all the flip-flops and it is a parallel. So simultaneously the clock is given to all these flip-flops. And here these flip-flops are going to be triggered with the negative edge of the clock. Then here you can see the clear inputs are also there to this flip-flop. So normally this clear input is connected to a VCC. Here we have this input, either you connect a VCC and 0, that according to our requirement. So for the normal operation, the clear has to connect it to A plus VCC. Now the another important input to the flip-flop, and that is the preset input that you can see. Here at the preset input, we are connecting a 4 NAND gate through which we can load our 4-bit binary number. Here the one of the input to this a NAND gate that you can see, here it is commonly connected and it is known as a preset input, or you can say it is a load input. So through which we can load the data. And another input to this NAND gate where we applied our 4-bit binary data. Now this output of the NAND gate is connected to preset input of a flip-flop. Now in the flip-flop we already know that here the preset input is also a active low, as well as the clear input is also a active low. So whenever the preset input is a 0, then the output of the flip-flop is going to be a set. And when the clear input is 0, the output of the flip-flop is going to be reset. This is known as the set and this is the reset. So by applying a preset active low, we can set the data in the flip-flop and we can clear the register by applying clear input to 0. For the normal operation, the preset must be equal to 1 as well as the clear has to be 1. So this will give you the normal operation of a flip-flop. Okay. So if this is clear, once you understand the function of each and every component, then it is very easy to understand that how the data is going to be loaded into a shift register. Okay, now let us see the operation of the circuit, and initially we assume that our data are 1101. Remember, my x3, x2, x3, x2, x1, x0, it is a 4-bit binary number, and let us say it is a 1101. So here we apply this. So x3 is equal to a 1, x2 is also a 1, x1 is 0, and x0 is 1. This is my a 4-bit binary number. So first of all we have to load this data. But before we load the data, we have to clear the shift register. So in that case, initially this whatever the clear input is there, this clear input has to be connected to the ground. Remember, so initially here the clear input has to be connected to ground. So all these inputs to the clear is 0, 0, 0, and here you can see that whenever the clear input is 0, then your flip-flop is going to be reset. So flip-flop will be reset. So as a result, here if we see, then the Q3 will be 0, Q2 will be 0, Q1 is 0, and Q0 is also 0. So initially we have to reset the flip-flop. So if we see what is the procedure, then first of all we will apply a clear input equal to 0. We are not applying the clock because the clear input and the preset input, they are asynchronous input. Asynchronous inputs are there. So here at that time the flip-flop is going to be clear. So these are 0, 0, 0. Now the second step. Second step, you have to remove the ground. Remember, here from this clear, you have to remove the ground and connect this to a plus VCC. Plus VCC. And now the preset or whatever the load input is there, it has to be connected to a high level. So here we will apply a 1. This preset input is 1. Now let us see what will happen. When this preset input is 1, so this input is 1. Now the input to this another gate, input to the gate of this X3, that is also a 1. So 1, 1, and the output of this is going to be according to the truth table of the NAND gate. This output is going to be a 0. So here this will be a 0. Now again, if we see at this point the input is high, my X2 is also a high, so the output of this NAND gate will be also 0. Here this input is 1, this is 0, and output of this NAND gate is going to be a 1. Same way, this input is 1, X0 is 1, so output of this NAND gate will be 0. So here now if we see that this preset is 0, this preset is 0, and this preset is also 0. So here you can see whenever the preset is 0, the flip-flop is going to be in a set condition. So as a result, if we see that this output will be high, this output will be high, and this output will be also high. So here we will write a 1, 1, and this will be also a 1. So now you can see what are my inputs. My input is 1101, 1101, correct? And now here this 1101 is already loaded in your flip-flop. Remember? Correct? So 1101 is loaded in the SIP register. So here my second input or the second step where the preset we applied or you can say the load preset or you can say load is high. We are not applying clock, then the output Q3, Q2, Q1 and Q0 become a 1, 1, 0 and 1. Correct? So in this way we have to load this data. This is the asynchronous loading where we are not using a clock. Directly your 4-bit data is stored by the flip-flop. Now when we applied a first negative edge of the clock, remember, here we applied a negative edge of this clock. So this negative edge is given to all the flip-flop simultaneously. Now in this case, whatever the inputs are there, it will be transferred to the output. Here if you see, we have not given any input to this D3. Means you can consider this as a 0. So this output of this flip-flop number 3 will be a 0. Now the input to the second flip-flop is 1. Now when this negative edge is coming, then this one is transferred to the Q2. Input to the D1 flip-flop is 1. When the negative edge is coming, then the Q1 will be a 1. Here the input to the D0 is 0, and when the negative edge is coming, then the output become a 0. Here you can say that with this clock pulse, when this first clock pulse we applied, then this data is going to be transferred from input to the output. And here the Q3 is 0. Q3 is 0. Q1 will be a 1. Q1 is 1. And the Q0 is also, here it is 0. This one is 1. This is going to be 1 and 0. So here you can see that the Q3 is transferred here, the Q2 is transferred, and the Q1 is also transferred. Now when we applied a second negative edge of the clock pulse, now input to the D3 is 0, so output will be also 0. This is going to be 0. Now input to the D2, it is 0, so here it is going to be a 0. Input to the D1 is 1, and it will be transferred to the output 1. And the input to this D0 is 1, and now here it is going to be transferred to Q0. So at the end of the second negative edge clock pulse, remember that if we see that the Q3 is 0, this is also a 0, this one is 1, and the Q0 is 1. Means here this one is transferred, and the Q1 output is also transferred to a Q0. And same thing we can say that whatever the 0 was on a Q3 is also transferred to Q2. Now let us see when we applied a third clock pulse. Third clock pulse with this negative edge at the input D3 it is 0, so this output is going to be 0. Now output of the Q3 is 0, so the input to the D2 is also 0, and it is transferred to a Q2 with 0. Now input to the D1 is 0, and therefore the output of the Q1 will be 0. Input to the D0 is 1, and as a result the Q0 after the clock pulse, this will be a 1. So if you look at this in a table, then this is going to be 0, this is going to be 0, this is going to be 0, and here the 1 is transferred like this. So you can see that Q0 here, this Q0 is nothing but it is my output. Remember, this is your a serial out. So whatever I am observing here, On a Q0, it is a Y0. So with the first clock pulse, the 1 is present, then the 0 has come out, then the 1 has come out, and then 1 has come out. And if we see with the fourth clock pulse, then all the flip-flop is going to be a reset condition. So here, whatever the outputs are there, remember 1011, it has come out serially from the SIP register. So initially, by applying a load equal to 1, your data is loaded into the SIP register. Then by applying a clock pulse 1 by 1 or bit by bit, this data is coming out at Y0, or you can say Q0, like this. So this is known as a parallel in, serial out SIP register. Now let us see what will be the waveform. So here you can see the waveform for the output of Q3, Q2, Q1, Q0, and here we have a clock pulse with this negative edge. With this negative edge of the clock pulse, there will be a transfer of the data from input to the output. So initially when the first negative edge is coming, before that, whatever we have loaded Q3 is 1, Q2 is 1, 0 and 1. So this is 1, this one is 1, 0 and the Q0 is 1. Then the negative edge is coming, then the data become a 0. Q3 is now 0. The Q2 is 1, that you can see. Then the Q1 is 1 and this is 0. With this third negative edge, here if you see, it is a 0, 0, 1, 1. With the fourth negative edge, 0, 0, 0 and 1. And then if we see that the SIP register is reset 0, 0, 0. So here basically in a serial out, your data is going to be lost. As you apply a clock pulses, then you are getting the data at the output. Then when you apply the second clock pulse, then the first data will be lost and the second data will come, second bit will come. With the third, the second bit will be lost and the third bit will be appear in the output. So this is the waveform of a PISO SIP register. Now we will discuss the another method for loading the data into a PISO SIP register, and this is known as a synchronous loading. Synchronous loading means that through the clock pulse we can transfer our data into a SIP register. So here you can see that one combinational circuit is connected at the input of the each D flip-flop, and also you can see that the output of the flip-flop number 3 is connected to a logic circuit for the flip-flop number 2. The output of the flip-flop number 2 is connected to a combinational circuit, and then that output is connected to input of the flip-flop number 1. So here we have this a flip-flop number 3, 2, 1 and 0. And finally, whatever the data is coming out, that is from the Q0, or you can say it is a Y0, where we are getting this data in a serial form. Input to this a SIP register is a 4-bit binary number. Let us say these binary numbers are again that x3 is 1, x2 is 1, x1 is 0 and the x0 is 1. So here if I will write that my data x3, x2, x1, x0 is 1, 1, 0, 1. This data has to be entered into the SIP register, and for that we have one control line that is known as S/L. So what is that? When we have this control line S/L bar, and it is known as a shift or load. So here when this shift or load, that line, remember, is a 0, it is connected to 0, means you can load the data. So first of all, in a SIP register we have to load the data. So at that time this control line has to be connected to a 0, then you can load the data. And when we have SL bar, this is equal to high, then the data will be shifted. So this is the shift mode, and here the data will be shifted from a left to right. So in this way we have a shift mode as well as the load mode is there. So initially we have to load the data. So this line has to be connected to a 0, means we are going to load the data. Now when this line is 0, then this line is connected to gate number 1, as well as gate number 3, gate number 5 and 7. So here this input is 0. So output of this gate 1 will be also 0 because it is an AND gate. Here this one is 0. So output of the gate number 3 will be also 0. This is connected to 0. So output of the gate number 5 will be 0. Same way the output of the gate number 7 will be also 0. So remember, when SL bar is equal to 0, the gate number 1, 3, 5 and 7 output will be 0, or you can say the gate are not active. Okay. Now look at this. With the same line we have connected a NOT gate. So due to this NOT gate, on this line there will be a high level, and here we can have a level 1. So input to this gate number 2 will be a 1, input to the gate number 4 will be also 1, this 6 will be also 1, and 8 will be also 1. So now if we see here, the x3 is 1, this input is 1, then naturally the output of this AND gate will be 1, and this 0 and 1 it's connected to a OR gate, so this input will be also 1. Now look at this, x2 is 1, this is also a high level, so output of this AND gate will be 1. Then again we have 0 and 1 input to this OR gate, so output of this OR gate will be 1, that is the input to the second flip-flop. Then if we look at this, here this input is high, my x1 data is 0, so this output of the AND gate will be 0, and 0, 0 input to this OR gate makes the output of this OR gate 0, and that is the input to the flip-flop number 1. And same way, here if we see that x0 is 1, this is 1, so output of this AND gate will be 1, and 0, 1 is input to this OR gate, so this output or the input to the flip-flop number 0 will be 1. Now look at this. Here what are my input? 1, x2, x3 is 1, and it is now transferred to at the input of the flip-flop number 3. x2 is 1, now it is transferred to the input of the flip-flop number 2. x1 is 0, it is transferred to the flip-flop number 1 as a 0. So, and here the x0 is 1, now it is appear at the input of the flip-flop number 0. Means whatever my 4-bit data is there, now it is ready at the input of all the flip-flop. Remember, still this data is not entered into the flip-flop. We have not loaded this data into the flip-flop. They are at the input of the flip-flop. Correct? Now when we apply a clock pulse, remember, here at the input, when we apply a negative edge of the clock pulse, then the flip-flop number 3 will be triggered, flip-flop number 2, 1 and 0 will be triggered. So whatever the data are appear at the input, they will be transferred to the output. So let us see what are the data at the input. Data at the input of the flip-flop 3, D3, data at the input of the flip-flop number 3 is 1. So now it is going to be transferred at Q3, that is also going to be 1. Remember. Then input data to the flip-flop number 2 is 1. So after the negative edge of the clock pulse, it will be appear at Q2, become a 1. Then input to the flip-flop number 1 is 0. Then here after the negative edge, it will be transferred to Q1, become 0. Same way, in the final flip-flop, the input is 1, and with this negative edge, the Q0 is going to be 1, which is my serial output. So remember, when we apply a first negative edge of the clock pulse, then the Q3 is 1, Q2 is 1, Q1 is 0, and the Q0 is 1. Means my data is transferred or the stored into the shift register. Here remember that initially we have load the data, correct? Then we have transferred the data into a shift register. So this is possible where SL line is 0. Now we want to shift the data. So for the shifting of the data, I already mentioned that this SL bar, this control line has to be a high level, then only the data will be shifted from left to right. So what is the second step? Second step means now SL bar will be equal to 1. Now try to understand that whenever the SL bar is equal to 1, so first of all here we will make it 0, we make it a 1, 1. Now this SL bar line is going to be a high. Then you can see that here we have connected a NOT gate, and this NOT gate is connected to the gate number 2, gate number 4, gate number 6 and the gate number 8. So this output of the NOT gate is 0. So this will be 0, 0, 0 and 0. As a result, this output of the all the AND gate is going to be 0. So remember, when the SL bar is equal to 1, then the gate number 2, 4, 6 and 8, their output will be 0. And if we see that gate number 1 is connected to this line, correct? So here we have 1. Now same way, the input to the gate number 3 will be also 1. Input to the gate number 5 will be also 1. And the input to the gate number 7 will be also 1. So here if we see, then this input to this gate is 1, and let us consider my Xi input. Remember, what is the Xi? Xi is that if you want to transfer the data serially, means you want to enter the data serially as well as you transfer the data serially, then here you can apply your data at Xi. Otherwise this Xi will be connected to 0. So this is for the serial in, serial out shift register. But here now we are connecting to 0. So as a result, now what will happen? That output of this AND gate will be a 0. And we have 0, 0 input at this point. So the output of this OR gate is going to be 0. Then barabar. Okay. Now here, if you see, the input to the gate number 3 is 1. Here the Q3 is 1. So this input is 1. So 1, 1 input, output of this AND gate will be 1. And now we have 1, 0. So this output will remain 1, or you can say it is 1. This input to the gate number 5 is 1. Correct? So here we will write a 1. Now 1, 1 input to this AND gate number 5. So the output of this AND gate 5 will be 1. And here we have 1, 0 input to this OR gate. So now this output of this OR gate will be a 1. Here the 0 is appear here. This 0, 1. So output of this AND gate is 0. And you can say 0, 0 input to this OR gate. So the output will be a 0. So now what will happen? That when we have connected SL bar line to a high level, then this is the situation. When we apply the clock pulse, now we apply this clock pulse, and that is my second clock pulse, or when the second negative edge of the clock pulse. What will happen? That whatever the input of the data is there, this input to the flip-flop number 3 is 0. Now it is going to be transferred to this output and make it 0. Now input to the flip-flop 2 is 1. Now it is transferred to this output, become a 1. Input to the flip-flop number 1, and it is a 1. After the negative edge, the Q1 will be a 1. And the input to the flip-flop number 0 is 0. And after the negative edge, this output will be a 0. So if you see with the second negative edge, the Q3 is 0, Q2 is 1, Q1 is also a 1, and Q0 is 0. So you can see there is a serial transformation of the data from the flip-flop number 3 to 2, flip-flop number 2 to 1, and 1 to 0. This is with the second negative edge. So similarly, if we see with the third negative edge of the clock pulse, the data is going to be transferred from left to right, and here the Q3 will be 0, Q2 become a 0 because the Q3 is 0, so with the negative edge the Q2 will be 0, and this one is going to be transferred to Q1, and this one is transferred to Q0. So in this way the data is going to be shifted. So here this Q0 is transferred to here, then it is going to be transferred here, then it is going to be transferred to Q1 and transferred to Q0. When we apply the fourth clock pulse, then the Q3 will be 0 and this is going to be transferred into a Q2. The Q2 is transferred to Q1 and here we have a 1 at the output of a SIP register. So if you see that my input data are 1101 and now Q0 is nothing but it is my serial output terminal, that is the Y0, and here you can see after the end of the fourth clock pulse the data is coming out from the SIP register. So in this way we can load the data simultaneously with the first clock pulse, and with the second, third, fourth clock pulse you can shift the data from left to right.